I call to order the Board of Education at
I'm sorry. It's
6:33. Could we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is, would you please call the roll?
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Winston.
Amanda Flesher,
Present.
Anthony Johnson,
Present.
Lori Hicks,
Present.
Cheryl Flesher,
Present.
Keisha Early,
Present.
Daniel Winston present, and Shirley Tolliver.
Present. Next item on the agenda is the approval of agenda. Are there any corrections to the agenda? There are none. Next item on the agenda is Superintendent's Communications.
Thank you.
Mr. Bob.
Thank you, Madam President. Congratulations are in order this evening for several instances. First and foremost, to Jefferson and Adams Elementary School students who, in conjunction with their art teacher, Ms. Zohar, student artwork is being displayed at a downtown art gallery from now through April the 26th. Details are available on the district's social media outlets, and then I will provide some additional details to the Board of Education as well. Also, congratulations are in order this evening to the entire Career Technical Education Department. As the district knows, a priority has been to successfully launch our Career Technical Education programs. All 5 of our Career Technical Education programs now have their final approval from the state of Michigan. So hats off to their entire department. None of these 5 program approvals would be possible without the ongoing efforts of Beth Harris, Chris Muncie, Jennifer Bruner, Sarah Nemick, Chef Tony, Chef Leo, Kevin Cartwright, Tanya Walker, Nikki Ogden, as well as Eliza Nagelhout and our very own Amy Davidson of the Curriculum Instruction and Assessment Department. So hats off to all of them. Without their efforts, we would not be in that space of having all 5 career technical education programs approved. Additionally, congratulations are in order to the entire Vandenberg staff that participated in yet another successful Black History event on February 27th that took place at Vandenberg Elementary School in conjunction with the Vandenberg community. There were over 400 people there in attendance. Our very own board president provided the keynote address that evening. We also had several other elected officials there that night, inclusive of our very own Thurston High School alumni and State Senator Mary Kavanaugh, who was there that evening. And on behalf of Mrs. Hughes, she would like to share her deepest appreciation to the entire Vandenberg staff and community for their unwavering dedication and commitment in organizing this most recent Black History event. This successful event continues to be a true reflection of Vandenberg's hard work, ongoing passion, and ongoing commitment to creating a positive and welcoming educational environment. The student performances and presentations were nothing short of outstanding, which showcased an in-depth understanding of Black history and culture. The students' enthusiasm, talent, dedication were simply nothing short of fantastic, and it was extremely inspiring to see the efforts of our students and our entire community. So, with that, Madam President, special thanks to the Vandenberg staff and Vandenberg community. It was an outstanding event yet again, and with that, that concludes my communications this evening, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Bob. Next item on the agenda is the board communications. Are there any?
Stone,
Yes?
on February 26th or 25th, I sent an email to my fellow committee members regarding the contract approval to extend the contract or not. I have not received any communication back from the committee members, and this needs to be completed by March 31st, or the contract is automatically approved for another year.
All right. the committee members, could you please respond to Mrs. Hicks? Next, anyone else have any board communications? I have one. Our, Michigan Association of School Board, awards dinner is going to be April the 24th, so mark your calendars, because I expect to see every board member here, there. It's gonna be from 5 to 8, and it's gonna be at Redford Union.
Do you want us here or at Red?
No, we wanted you at Redford Union at 5 to 8, April 24th. Because we will be a honor board, and I think we get something, don't we, Lori?
Yes.
Okay. All righty. Next item on the agenda, comments from the audience, topics related to the agenda. Are there any? There are none. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Do I have a board member willing to adopt the consent agenda?
To the chair,
Yes.
I'd like to move the adoption of the following resolution, please.
Do I have a support? Support. It's been moved by Mrs. Fletcher, supported by Mrs. Hicks. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? 0 nays, 7 ayes, 0 nays. Resolution adopted. Next item on the agenda, presentation of the bond projects update. Mr. Bauer.
Thank you, Madam President. At this time, I would like to turn it over to our partner and project manager in more ways than one, from Barton Mallow, Kelly Ferguson, to provide the board with an update in terms of the bond projects and upcoming attractions for summer of 2025. Kelly.
Thank you. Good
Thank
evening,
you.
everybody. It's a full house tonight.
Right there.
Alrighty. So we just wanted to kind of give you a little snapshot of what's currently going on in the district and investigation, what's gonna happen this upcoming summer.
All right.
So currently, we are actively working at Fisher Elementary School, Jefferson Elementary School, and Vandenberg, as well as doing some evening work at Pierce Middle School ahead of our summer construction. So let's talk about Fisher right now. We are currently working on the north end of Fisher Elementary School. As you can see, this is what the future floor plan is going to look like. Originally, this had, I think, 10 classrooms, I want to believe so, but we have rearranged the floor plan. We are going to be having some very special guests occupy this space from pre-K to kindergarten, and so we're keeping that going and keeping that moving. And we have some photos to kind of show you where we're at and the progress so far. So we've gone ahead and demoed everything out of the spaces, demoed a lot of walls in the spaces. We were able to get our underground plumbing in for our new restrooms, which you see going in here. We've got passed our inspections, so we're able to start boarding up walls, which is gonna be super great, because then we'll start seeing the finishes of painting and all that kind of good stuff going on. And if you drive by Fisher, you'll see the new storefront windows and doors that are going in the spaces. And that work is scheduled to be slated, or scheduled to be finished, I want to say, around July of this year, if not sooner. This upcoming summer, we are going to be working in several areas. We're gonna be back in the main section of Fisher. So we're gonna be working and upgrading the library learning commons, similar to what Adams had done a couple summers ago. You're gonna see that same tree, emblem or tree thing that's happening inside this library learning commons as well. The art room will get some nice cosmetic upgrades, as well as new discovery classroom, which will allow you to look inside the library commons, or library commons, I should say. The old reception area is going to get reworked. And there is a current classroom that is a full classroom, but once we have these other spaces open up, we're gonna change that into the two spaces, one for gross motor skills and the other, I can't remember what it is, but it'll be nice and neat. We also are going to be upgrading the kitchen with a new oven, new ceiling, new lighting, some other cosmetic finishes to keep that going and looking pretty good. And finally at Fisher, because this will be our last summer there, we are going to be also working on the second floor. So once again, similar to what we're doing on the north side, a lot of the corridor walls are coming out so that we can expand and make the classrooms larger for our students. You'll also see there are some special education classrooms that are going to be up here, which are going to be outfitted with all the right things that are needed. There's a new restroom going in. The existing toilet rooms are going to be upgraded and look nice and cute, as well as some office space, I should say, on site. At Jefferson and Vandenberg, those schools both have similar layouts, but they're doing some slightly different things. So at Jefferson, we are currently under construction, and Vandenberg as well. But currently we're under construction, building the new gym addition, as well as putting in some new chiller. So as you guys can see, these pictures are a little bit old because it's snow on the ground. But last month, we were able to set the chiller, and we're going to have that up and running, so you guys will have brand new air conditioning in that space, bring away from Jefferson in the coming weeks. We also were able to get the addition is now fully bricked, which is so nice to see. We'll start getting windows in, I believe, in the next month or so to get that place enclosed and everything going. We have our roof that just got placed on last week, and this is the steel that was underneath it, so that one is moving quite along. The next piece. That addition is scheduled to be finished this upcoming summer, if not sooner once again. The parking lot will be finished before school starts, so that's the one that we're really excited about. Inside Jefferson, similar to Vandenberg, which will kind of go with the same feel, the classrooms are all getting upgraded this summer, so they'll get these painting, they'll get new marker boards, they'll get, somebody gets some new upgraded cover touch displays, they'll get new flooring in the space as well as in the corridors. We are going to be also upgrading the library learning commons so that once again we have that tree.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that's there too. As well as a visual interest from the new STEAM room into the library learning commons as well. Jefferson will also get their existing gym floor is wood, so we're taking that out and they're going to get a new Brazilian floor in that space. At Vandenberg, as I mentioned, it's very similar to Jefferson. It's a couple weeks, a little bit behind where Jefferson's at right now. So when we look at the pictures, we look a little bit further behind. We do have all the steel now set. The roofing, I believe, is planned to go on this week. We have really great weather, which is amazing. This is some pictures from a couple of weeks ago. You can see we had the parapet frame roof, which we need to get that in place in order to be able to put the roofing that we have sitting up on top of it in place. They started back up at Jefferson, putting the brick on it, and the brick on the chiller wall, so that way, I believe in this week, we'll be setting the actual chiller inside the enclosure there as well. So once again, similar to Jefferson, we're doing all interior renovations. In the school, the only slight difference is Vandenberg does not have a wood floor in the current cafeteria gym, but we still are going to replace the floor. So still get a nice upgrade, just not changing from that there. There are slightly more classrooms at Vandenberg. Oh, I forgot, both schools are getting all mechanical upgrades, so you get to see nice, cool, quiet, just like these units, when they're actively going, you can't really hear them. It'll be nice, cool, and quiet to keep that going in those spaces. At Pierce, last summer, we were able to complete work in the media center. We did upgrades to the cafeteria, the bands, and the music space, as well as the reception room and the counseling office center. This summer, we're going to be focused on the classrooms. So all, I believe 48 classrooms or 49 classrooms are getting renovations. They'll get all new flooring. There are 2 existing classrooms and some stage steps. We're getting rid of those steps. They're going to be going out the way. That's going to be a nice, smooth, flat surface. The science rooms in the northeast corner are going to get, their walls are coming down, so we're going to slightly adjust the layout. And all 6 science classes are getting new casework in those as well. We're going to upgrade the existing, I would say it was old the old bit, that's going to be a nice little upgrade, as well as the art room too. Same thing with second floor, all new flooring. They're going to get a lot of new marker boards, some vertical marker boards in those spaces, so they can keep that going. A lot of the casework is going to be furniture driven instead of a fixed piece, so they'll be able to utilize this classrooms in a more applicable manner. So yeah, and we're keeping them pretty simple. I will say this, for all 4 schools, when we're completed with the work, they will have all new technology, all new low voltage wiring, so it'll be up to date, and so, you know, for many, many years to come, it'll be looking pretty snazzy. Uh-oh.
While we're waiting for that to come out,
Yes.
back up, what is the difference between a wood floor and a resilient floor?
So, right here in this cavity, essentially, or kitchenette, that's the resilient flooring that's going in the schools. The wood floor was just it's not gonna be suitable for cafeteria style, you know, it can get wet easier with kids' lunches and everything, so it'll be a lot more durable to have this type of floor than cafeteria. Now, the new gyms are all gonna have both have wood floors.
Okay.
Next, did I keep doing that? I think it's neat.
I have a question.
Yes,
Will you be finished with Fisher's Field?
yes, we are going to reestablish that this summer. Yeah, that'll go back to what it actually, slightly variation, there was a walking path, we're gonna make the walking path again, but it's not gonna be the exact same walking path, but yes, that'll be finished up this. Okay, so for future bid packages, currently right now, what we have out to bid, okay, I'll say this, currently right now, we're going to be going out to bid, and we have out to bid right now, the Thurston High School low voltage package. So what they're gonna see this summer that's going in is we're going to add some projectors in the cafeteria, as well as the media center, those will be some minor upgrades there. We're also going to be upgrading the digital signage so that it matches the rest of the district, so that way you can put a message out at any of the schools and it can go across everywhere. So those minor upgrades are happening. We're also going to upgrade the audio system in the main gym, so it'll be nice and fancy and Bluetooth accessible and all that good stuff, as well as speakers. And then for our upcoming projects in the fall, it's the Thurston High School remodeling project. So that's our last big project of the bond. So what that includes is upgrades to the unit ventilators. So once again, every school is getting these new mechanical units to make sure it's more energy efficient, as well as quiet in classrooms. There will be some minor flooring upgrades, specifically a large upgrade in the corridors, so it'll be nice and fresh. The corridors are going to get painted. And then we are also going to be doing as well some more technology upgrades. A couple years ago, I believe it was in 2023, we upgraded all the classrooms with new projectors and screens. So that's not going to change, but we are going to hit the other areas as well and upgrade once again cabling in the buildings and just keeping it up to date and current. Oh, I think that's it. All right. Are there any questions? Other questions?
Are there any? You answered mine with Lori's question.
No problem.
Yes.
Well, I think I will see you guys in about 4 weeks for that Thurston Technology Bid.
Kelly, if I may,
Oh, yes.
I'd like to make a connection just because she's here this evening, that thanks to the feedback of our very own Erin Minestrelli, that digital messaging commonality that Kelly accentuated would not be possible without Erin's efforts.
Right.
So we really appreciate Erin flagging that, which is now making that possible throughout the district. And so I figured since she was here this evening, and a lot of her colleagues are here from Vandenberg, I thought that we would lift that in our time together. So thanks for accentuating that, Kelly, and thank you, Erin, for making that become a reality for all of our schools across the district.
Thank you.
And we also want to thank, this is actually from Vandenberg, I feel like a lot of Vandenberg people. But not only Vandenberg and Jefferson for being so accommodating. I know those temporary parking lots suck. I know. We're working on it, but thank you guys so much for working with us, because it is truly a process with a freeze-thaw cycle that's making everything hard, but we appreciate you guys so much for your patience. Right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you, Kelly. Next item on the agenda, presentation Vandenberg Elementary School. Mr. Powell.
Thank you, Madam President. At this time, I would like to turn it over to Principal Hughes as well as the Vandenberg staff, who, in addition to their musical montage with their scrolling photos as we entered into the board meeting tonight, They have compiled a presentation for the board this evening, and so without further ado, I will turn it over to Principal Hughes and the Vandenberg staff.
So I think most of you, as you were coming in, saw the montage of our students, and I already gave props to Erin as well. So she put this piece together, and it really displays who we are as Team Vandy, we like to be called, and as Vandenberg Eagles. And it kind of just shows you some of the main highlights over the years, or actually this year, of what we've been doing. And pretty much it brings us right up to our Black History event that we had on February 28th. So, but as you guys are kind of looking through that, and as our team is, Kyla and I'll step over here. Sorry, you want to see the kids, I know. So Kyla and I will just introduce our staff that's here. First of all, thank you guys so much, and our parents. So thank you guys all for being here. I could not do my job without each and every one of you, and I am truly grateful. We are grateful for our school community that we have, and this just kind of embodies who we are and how we care about our kids. And every year we get a new shirt. I don't know if you guys know this, but this is our shirt, and we do teach awesome kids, and we have an awesome staff that teaches awesome kids. So with that, Kyla and I are just gonna kind of introduce people, so you don't have to stand up if you're not feeling that, but just give us a wave or something. Kyla and I, we work together. She is our elementary assistant principal, and then some. So she has many talents that I am truly grateful, and also just to kind of have a teammate, it's super cool, because sometimes as a principal, it's a little lonely out there, but I got her to have my back. And I appreciate you, so thanks. So we'll start with Linda Potts. She is in front row and center, so somebody had to take the front row, so thanks, guys. She is our social worker with Growth Works.
Yes, and then we have Miss Elizabeth Kangas, who is in our CrossFit classroom, who does our 3-4-5. And we have Miss Jerry Bernarskis, who's our 3rd grade teacher. We have Miss Alexei, who is our kindergarten teacher. And we have Peter Fulmer, who is our art teacher.
We have Paige Nicholson, our 1st grade teacher. We have Erin Minestrelli, who is our tech coach. Milka Haas, who is our instructional coach.
And then we have Miss Kelly Shute, who is our other 3rd grade teacher. We have Jamie Shelby, who is our interventionist. Then we have Star Edison, who is our other social worker. Then we have Dana Beck, who is our speech and language psychologist. Then we have Julie Thomas, who does our early childhood. And then we have Jamie Peterson, who is our 2nd grade teacher. Then we have
Ashley.
Powell, who is our 5th grade teacher.
Yep. And in the back, we have Rachel Risk, our teacher consultant, and Claudia Rushlow, our teacher consultant. And of course, we also have a parent, so thanks so much. And we've been talking about our crosswalk, so good thing that got better, so thank you. We also have Cooper here that does our safety and security piece, not only for Vandenberg, but, our whole district, so. Team Vandy, yes, we are in the house. So thank you all for coming, and I know that we just saw each other, but we appreciate you guys coming back. Thank you. So this is our new staff picture that you just saw. We have a lot of fun at Vandenberg, but we are basically looking at our 3 rocks, our South Redford 3 rocks. And we are going to weave this into our presentation this evening, looking at the building of relationships, and it starts with our staff and moves all the way to our parents and our school community, and our responsiveness to just the needs of our school community. Safety, including our learning environment for our students, for our staff, for our kids, and our community. We're going to weave in and talk a little bit about curriculum and instruction and assessment and the latest and greatest that we've been doing since January. And then we're going to also cover the district's strategies of safe and nurturing environment for all, using our families as supportive parents, and our solutions group is gonna tell you how we do that specifically at Vandy. Again, safe and nurturing environment for all, but as it relates to our curriculum. So, all right. Oh, thanks. Hang on, I gotta get my notes. Cause I, like a good teacher, printed out my little handouts. Okay, so we're just gonna marinate on this for a minute. And really, we're gonna focus here. And actually, this is Lisa speak, so I'm gonna say it and break it down like Lisa does. Pretty much, this is the best ever data that we have at Vandy. And you can see this is ELA grade 3. And we are in competition with the district. Grade 4, we have 30% proficient in ELA. And again, at Vandenberg, it is the best ever. And we have some work to do, but we'll get there in a minute. Let's celebrate first, right, guys? And we already talked on this at our staff meeting once this became allowed for us to kind of discuss. Grade 5, 40%. And I'm just going to break it down that best ever, beat the district, beat the county, and kind of close to the state. So, I mean, that's a lot to celebrate. Yeah, thank you all. And really, it's reflective of everything that starts, and as you guys know, and you guys know too, from preschool all the way up to kinder, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. And these kids that came from Vandy also were leading the group that went to Eagle Scholars. And that's Tyler, his son. So we had the most Eagle Scholars that moved from Vandenberg. I think you guys know this, right? Maybe not. Well, there you go. Whoop, whoop, Vandy. But the most Eagle Scholars that moved, and that was that group. So it was kind of cool. So this is our math proficiency. And again, grade 3, 27%. Close to the district. Grade 1, 21%. Close to the district. And grade 12, grade 5, I apologize, 12%. Again, close to the district. So, you know, we do have some work to go, but we're going to kind of talk about that next. So, thanks, Kyla. So I had Nadia prepare a couple of slides that we're going to look at in a minute, but our science proficiency is 23%, and you can see here, team, where we're at. We beat the district for science, and for MSTEP for social studies, 5%, again, beating the district. So we have a lot to celebrate, and this really speaks a picture of where we're at, and our next steps is what are we gonna do? Because, we still need to push our kids, push our instruction, really focus on our tier 1. And this next slide is something that I had Nadia prepare for us. So these are partially proficient. And I thought it was a good picture to look at because these are the students that last year were in 3rd grade. In ELA, 39%, math, 36%. Grade 4, we have kids that are just almost there, 21% and 34% in math. And then grade 5, 28% and 37% and 35% in science and social studies. So this picture I asked Nadia to do because what's next, right? We have improvement, thank you, to do. So then, Lisa being, somewhat data-driven and kind of, a geek a little bit, I took and drilled it down further.
So in order, can you go back to that? Sorry. In order to raise our proficiency, we have to focus on these kids. Now, our grade 5 kids are already at Pierce, but we can go ahead and look at our grade 3 kids because right now they're in grade 4. Our grade 4 kids because right now they're in grade 5. So we need to move 6 kids here that are in grade 3 for ELA. We need to move 5 kids here in math, 7 kids here, and 5 kids here, and then our proficiency score will go up, right? And that's what we want. The good news is you guys probably already know who those kids are, and we know who they are because we have a plan of action of how we're going to hop them over to proficient. So, if you want to go to the next slide. This just kind of talks about the different scale scores, and that's what I kind of had to look at this weekend to see who those students were and who we could really impact. So what are we doing now? And this is our data analysis. Of course, we identified our proficiencies and what we need to do, and we're going to talk about that here in the now what. Another here's what is looking at that information by grade level, which we did, and we constantly weave in real live data into our PLCs and our staff meetings on a regular basis. We looked at our target strengths and weaknesses and those claims so we could really drill down to see what specific students need at an individual basis. And then, so what? We looked at, again, the standards. We looked at who are the kids that have not shown growth, who were the 6 or 7 that are going to hop over to the proficiency side, and we devised a plan for tutoring. Now, tutoring is not only at Vandenberg, okay, it's district-wide at the elementary, and if you work with tutoring, can you just raise your hand real quick? Okay, thanks guys. So, we have staff, and most of our staff at Vandenberg are teachers. So they are doing our tutoring, and again, is it those 6 kids? Is it those 7 kids? And the answer is yes. So we know not only what to do to move them, but who they are to move them. And I'm gonna call up Amy next, because this piece here really hits the why of what we do and the how of what we do every day, all day. But before I go to intervention, we also look at our attendance and behavior and how does it impact academics. So our solutions team will talk to that. But Amy, I'll have you kind of just spin your magic.
So I'm the reading interventionist at Vandenberg, as most of you already know. And I want to speak a little bit to this now what part of this slide. Our win time stands for what I need. And the students that in years past, win time or differentiated time or workshop time would be focused on students that were just bottom of the barrel, needed that additional help, and everyone else was just kind of left to work with the teacher and maybe in a small group if you're lucky. And last year, we were fortunate enough to have enough Title I aid support that we were able to, at every single grade level, divide every single classroom into groups where each and every child was put in front of an adult to get that differentiated or what I need time. And we saw significant change in our test scores last year. This year, I prayed and hoped that we could have the same number of title staff, or at least comparable, so that we could again implement this type of 40-minute individualized instruction for every single student in our school. And so throughout the day, I was at the beginning of the school year charged with assigning all of those students to an adult or a classroom teacher, and it hasn't been as smooth as I would hope, of course, but things happen. We have
every single student for 40 minutes each and every day, though, getting what they need. And not only in reading this year, but we've also implemented a math portion. So that slide previously, that math 5% proficiency thing, really, that was our drive. We've got to find a way to fill those gaps for the students, especially in math. Reading, we've got a handle on it. We've been having a great, strong intervention program, I feel, for the last 6 or 7 years. And it's taken that long to see that growth. So we need to know that math isn't gonna happen overnight, but it's going to happen. So we have great dedicated staff. We have dedicated title aides that, you know, they continue to want to come back and work with our students. And that is so important. We don't have a turnover of title staff. So that keeps the consistency with the students right where we need it to be. I don't know, what else do I need to say?
Amy also meets with our title staff on a regular basis throughout the year. She provides a lot of training for our title staff to do what they need to do so that they are ready to work with our kids. Amy also meets with our staff too and has meetings where they, go ahead.
Oh
sorry.
yeah, like we have these meetings, they're called IRIT meetings. They're meetings to talk about individual students, to get them on to know kind of what track they're supposed to go through and what would be their plan for their intervention time or their win time. I also run the RFA process, which is the referral request for intervention, request for assistance program. That's under the SFA umbrella of solutions. And as the interventionist, I meet with the teachers that have concerns about students that have needs in academics, in behavior, in attendance. They fill out the form. I'm called the gatekeeper. So I go over and I have a conversation with them and see what other supports they need from our team. So then they would sign up for a meeting. It will be myself, Ms. Potts, Ms. Edison, Mrs. Hughes. Kyla is there sometimes when she's there. And so that process is also a layer to help identify each and every student. And it's that RFA process is really unique in, it's not a gateway to special education. It's a real raw conversation about what in the world can we do? I've done X, Y, and Z, and things aren't changing. So then we come, power of the minds, and come up with new strategies that they try to implement. And we've had good success. We haven't even really needed so much RFA processes this year, I've noticed. My goal is to have every classroom teacher submit at least one every quarter, and it hasn't been needed. Because we're kind of meeting those needs, I feel, in our differentiation time, through our conversations, because we're constantly in communication with one another, it seems like. And not always are those formal meetings needed, because we can just kind of solve things on the go, and try things, and then if things aren't working, then they go to the formal process. So, any questions? I kind of just went into that, sorry.
Yeah, that's why
Do you have any questions or wonderings about anything in that nature? No? Okay, great.
Thank you, Amy.
I give my students way longer wait time, by the way.
And so we just kind of went ahead a little bit just to, and we're going to back it up because Amy was speaking on the intervention piece, and this is part of our solutions work. So can we just?
Well, also go under solutions is our parent engagement, attendance, and cooperative culture.
Awesome. So, since Amy kind of went here, no, you're good. We just roll with them. We're flexible. We're teachers. So, we're going to continue with that, and then we'll get back to solutions. Okay, guys? But thank you, Amy. I love going into Amy's room because she has this huge whiteboard in there with all of our students' names and where they're at and all these arrows because it's flexible and we're constantly moving kids from one group to a higher group to a higher group. So, thank you. I appreciate you so much, and I give her a lot of work to do in projects, right? So, we're going to move on to our staff and student wellness, and this is again part of the 3 rocks, so I'm gonna call up Star and Linda. And you guys can tell us more about this fun stuff.
Surprise.
Come on, Linda, get up there with your girl.
So again, I'm Star, I'm one of the social workers. I mainly work with the students who have special education services. We do have Lincoln Behavior Services that offer community mental health services in the schools. Side note fact, I used to be a CMA at another school in Detroit. And so I loved working in the school. However, I would leave and have to wait till the following week for my students to tell me the progress of what we did in therapy and if it worked in the classroom. But it's much easier for us to be in the building every day because I can see my kids in real time, like, you're not listening. Let's go back to the class and tell the teacher this and work. We can see it in real time versus me waiting 1 week to find out if my kid actually did what I asked him to do. We have Linda, who is from GrowthWorks. We do have 2 district behavior coaches, Holly and Rachel. Holly works with the Gen Ed population and Rachel works with me a lot, so she helps us with behavior plans and FBAs and VIPs. We have restorative circles that Linda and myself run, depending on what kind of group and who's there that day and what happens. And we all know something can happen randomly every day. The reset room monitor, Mr. Coach is amazing. All the kids love him. He's out right now for some family things, but I heard the kids made a rumor the other day that he's out coaching NBA. I was like, oh, really? Okay, thanks. We do mindful moments where the teachers have it in every classroom right after lunch because for some reason all of our kids are on professional sports teams, so when they come back after recess, they don't understand that we're not really in the NBA or the soccer team, so they're a little rambunctious, so the classrooms have like a reset, so every class does a mindful moment, whether it's coloring or listening to music, just to calm them because you cannot get all these kids corralled and do work, and especially gonna be hard because it's warmer now, and they like to be outside. We have Fun Fridays, which I almost never win. Joy's not here. Joy gets on my last nerve because Joy has a musical ear where they play a song on Friday mornings and they take the certain caller. So it could be the first, 5th, 10th caller. And you have to recognize the tone, the time, and the artist. No, the title and the artist. I never win. And when you win, you get to leave a little earlier that day. So Lisa covers your class so you can leave earlier. So it's very interesting to watch all of us trying to run to the room to get the phone to lose to Joy Burks. Just
I know.
And then like the one time I was cheating, I was on Shazam a lot, that's probably why I wasn't winning. The one time I won, I was in the hallway and I'm like, I knew the artist and the song and I'm in the hall, so I couldn't call. You know.
Mailbox Streets, staff member of the month, and then first Gentlemen's Club, so let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's.
So the Gentlemen's Club is something that I came up with and I brought Coach along with me. So I started, I decided to use the teachers to pick kids who are, or boys who kind of like show leadership and also could just basically show leadership, really, like the good boys, but also some who need a little, or could use a little male mentorship, role model type of thing. I selected 12 boys with the help of some teachers, and we meet once a month, and we go over things like, so down here was our first meeting last month. We have another meeting actually this Wednesday coming up. So we focused on the leadership components, and all the boys had to learn how to tie ties. So I have 3 of my friends who graduated from college with me, who are in a male mentorship kind of, area. So they come in and they, just basically work with the boys, and we talk about, we go over community, that's one of the topics, leadership. We have one where we talk about all the components what a gentleman looks like. So we go over those things. So far the boys enjoyed it, and I just like to see that they are, the kids, they had to come to school dressed in their white shirts and ties. So
That's all right.
Everybody's like, wondering why the boys are so dressed up, and they just felt so, just a sense of just like respect and like, everybody everybody is asking what, you know, what we're doing, you know. So I had a boy come up to, I think he's in the third or fourth, I think he's in the fourth grade. So he catches me in the hallway, he's like, Miss Potts, where are you going? I said, you know, I'm going to the media center. He said, are the gentlemen's club meeting in there? I said, yep, they are. You know, he's not a part of it, but he was, you know, really interested and wanted to know what we were doing. So I think that that's cool to have, you know, this component or this piece added. And then so we end in May. So that's and then our online safety course starts.
Oh, that's what we're doing with Officer.
Yeah, Officer
coming
Primal,
up.
our
Yeah.
student resource officer.
Yeah, we had a lot of kids, you know, social media and policing phones and whatnot, so we're now gonna meet with, I believe, third, fourth, and fifth grade.
Second too.
Oh, Lord.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right, second, third, fourth, and fifth grade separately, and parents are involved, but we're gonna have the officer, just to understand that, you know, you can't do all the things that you're thinking you can do as far as like group messaging, taking pictures, they don't understand social media. A lot of our kids, all of our kids are too young to have all of these social platforms, however, they all do. So we're trying to get them to understand, you know, proper etiquette when you have your cell phones.
And also the safety aspect too.
Yes.
So Officer Primal is coming this Friday. If anybody would like to join in, feel free. The schedule's right here. Grade 2, but, you know, we're also talking to, you know, our school community, inviting parents to come, and then we're gonna do a little question and answer with the parents afterwards, so.
It's important because the kids they're chatting, like I'm a helicopter mom, so I have access to my kids' phone, who are out on Thursday, and I open it, and I don't care, I'll check messages, who's that, who you talking to? These kids are chatting on games, and so it's a problem because you're probably not chatting with a 13 or 12-year-old kid. You could be chatting with a pedophile, you could be, you know,
right.
and they don't understand that, so we're just trying to get them to understand, like, don't give information, don't share locations, and just not chat with these people if you do not know who they're not your friends, don't chat with them on games. That's it, any questions? No, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and thank you for all the support.
I have a question.
Oh, okay.
Did anybody else have any questions? I just want to ask one question.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
No, I have two. The Gentlemen's Club, is it third, fourth, and
Just
fifth?
fourth and fifth grade.
Fourth and fifth, okay.
Uh-huh.
Now, the SRO, when is he coming?
She's coming
Friday.
this Friday, the
At what
14th,
time?
and
Starting
she's,
at 1.
yeah, starting
Oh, okay.
at 1 and going until 3:30.
Okay.
But I can text you guys this, because this is also, we shared that on Dojo. So Officer Primal will be there, it'll be in our LLC, starting with grades 2, 3, 4, and 5. But I can share that with you guys. I don't
Thank
have
you.
everybody's cell phone, but I'll give it to you.
Yes.
I have another question
Yeah.
for Lisa.
Yeah?
If President Trump gets his way and is able to shut down the Department of Ed, do we have a plan beginning to be thought about how we fill our gaps?
I mean, we're going to do what we do, and that is our plan. And our plan is to teach and put our kids first.
I was well, maybe it's really more of a Mr. Bottle
Yeah.
question, because I was really referring to the funding of all the extra support we get.
I will go away if funding goes away. I mean, I'm fully funded, I'm 85% funded by Title I funds. So. I
Yeah,
would
those are my,
definitely be
that's where my
pleading
concerns are, you
That
know.
we find a way.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Okay.
In our aids.
All of our aids.
All of our aids.
Yeah.
I was intentional, I'll be honest, intentional in saying Title I aids. Because it is something on my mind.
Yeah.
100%. So, because things will look very different if that chunk of money is no longer available. So. I'm sorry, I know it was Mrs. Hughes.
Well, no, I mean, it's appropriate. Anybody that kind of has the answers, I could really use them, because frankly, I'm scared to death. You know, I just don't know how we handle the special ed, the Title I, Title IX, if they take away the Department of Ed. So, and I'm sure there's a whole lot of other programs that are there also, but, yeah, so it just scares the heck out of me.
And, you know, we've always done, I mean, I've been at Vandy a while, you know, and we've always put kids first. And that is, no matter what, we will continue to do. And I can firmly say that with this staff behind us. And this speaks not only to Vandenberg, but also South Redford as a whole. And I can speak, you know, from the other elementaries as well.
Yeah,
We are committed to make a difference for our
but
kids.
everybody would like their paycheck.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You know, it just feels sometimes like we're helpless, but like I call,
Yeah.
senators and
That's
representatives.
right.
and
Good.
they have
Keep
to
doing
make a
that.
lot of that. I mean, just to feel like you're doing something, you know, registering your ideas and your thoughts and, you know, hopefully there'll be something, some kind of protest or something at the.
Well, if you hear
Capitol
one,
or
let me know,
whatever.
because I'll be there with you.
Because, I mean, there is only so much we can do, but our voices can be heard.
Yeah.
Yes.
There are protests going on, but the problem is they're during working hours.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm retired now, but,
Well, I'll send you the ones that I know about.
okay, thanks, Elizabeth.
Any other questions?
We have one more slide.
Okay.
But if you have questions thus far. Okay, so we already talked about solutions, so I'm gonna call up Ms. Salese and Ms. B to kind of speak about what we do as a staff.
All right, so I am the chair of the Parent Involvement Committee, loosely the chair. Because there's such a great team that works together to do the programs that we do. So our job is to educate families and create partnerships with them. So we do a number of events that we don't necessarily do all the planning, but we kind of keep track of how many parents we get. We always have QR codes all over the place when we do these events, so we can get an estimate of the number of people who are there. And we've also put in that QR code a Google Doc where they can, or a Google form where they can give feedback on the event they've been at. So one new one that we tried this year was to have a lunch and learn with a loved one. And so we had families come in at lunchtime to eat lunch with their student. And then in the learning center, the parents saw a slideshow about some different resources they could have. We got some great feedback. We had 60 people come. A lot more wanted to, but because it was kind of our first one, we had to kind of cut it off because we weren't sure if we could accommodate that, you know, more than that. So we're gonna try it again in May. This time we're gonna accept more people coming because we have a new idea of how to get the learning part in where the families will come to the classroom for half an hour and participate in an activity and then just go to lunch or recess or both with their students. So there was a lot of buzz about that, and I think a lot of people really enjoyed it. Jada mentioned our Black History Night, which is really our premier event and involves both the community as well as the teachers. And again, we had over 400 people at that. We start out the year with popsicles on the playground, which is always a big draw because it's at the end of the summer. Kids can come and meet their teacher. So we had 125 adults at that. We had our track or treat. Everybody likes candy. So we had about 200 adults come to that. We had a PTO meeting along with dodgeball, and there were approximately 50. We did a holiday sing-along during school time, and we had about 60 people come to that. So we have our spring picnic concert / art show at the end of the year. It's outside. It's usually a really nice day, and we're expecting, you know, 200 to 300 people for that.
And then we also had a partnership with Detroit PAL, where they came in and took a group of our kids, I think they were grades 3 through 5.
Yep.
And, you know, played basketball with them, which was wonderful. So we had 28 students participate in that.
Yeah.
So. that's-
Little hoopers, and we have soccer coming up. So, yeah, soccer will be in the spring, so our kids love soccer. I'm gonna talk a little bit about attendance. This team identifies key barriers and what interventions that we're gonna put in place as a staff. This is all done at our staff meeting. And we did hook up with our sororities, who we love, Zetas. And the Zetas, yep, go ahead, Star. And the Zetas actually purchased pizza and juice boxes for all those students that made their attendance goals. Joy Burks and the attendance team is part of that work. And then we did a little incentive. We have another one coming up, which is super cool. And we asked for like free roller skating passes, and we got them, which was great. So we're really trying to, I don't know, use our donations, if you will. I'm gonna send it off to Cooperative Culture with Kristen Slazy.
Hi, I am the Cooperative Culture Chair, so our goal is to really encourage positive behavior at Vandenberg. So sticking with the positive, each month we have our huge town hall celebrations where we meet at the end of a month and each teacher gets to showcase kids that are doing well for having perfect attendance, so we're showcasing that area too. Academic honors, random acts of kindness, and behavior in general as well. So those are some focus positives, and every meeting, Mrs. Hughes chooses who's going to be the Eagle winner, and we pass off the Eagle stuffed animal. So it's a really exciting event for our kids. And then us as a team, we really focus on student behavior, and we track what's going on. So each month, I pull the data, see what our ODRs look like, how many do we have, what are some possible hot spots that we need to kind of focus on, and then our team kind of works together to figure out what we can kind of put in place to help improve these. So our main goal this year is to focus on decreasing the number of office referrals in general at our school, and we are just really encouraging teachers to teach our gathering circle, our class council, and having these conversations constantly to kind of encourage that positive behavior.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. And you already heard about Intervention 380. So thank you so much for letting us showcase who we are as Team Vandenberg.
I have a question.
Yes.
Anybody else have a question first?
I got more comments, but if I.
Me too, so. Yeah, go ahead. Is that okay?
Can I make my comment?
Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I just want to say this is the third presentation that I witnessed, so this is like a regular occurrence for me, and I wasn't here just to show favoritism.
Really?
But it felt the most informative and like intentional. So like the deep dives, and maybe just because we kind of speak the same language as far as like data driven, that was very helpful for me from my perspective as a parent of kids that have already cycled through school and that's currently there. And it also just addressed the opportunities. So we're not, meeting or exceeding certain areas, but the content around the opportunities seem like thoughtful. Just for lack of better terms, just remove like the fluff, puppies and rainbows, as I like to call it at work. So I just want to say I appreciate that and everybody that contributes to that, and I would hope to think that maybe that could be a model for some of the other schools that have to come and present that information.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else? Well, yes, Mr. Winston.
All right, Lisa, I'm going to ask a magic wand question here.
Say what I was gonna ask.
We came out of COVID and we're getting back to normal learning. And you were speaking upon, these are the best scores at Vandy ever. And we're talking about being at district. But it's county and then it's state.
Yeah.
Magic wand, you have it. What would it take for us to move into, we're no longer talking about district because we're way past that.
Yeah,
How do
we're
we
at the
get to
county and the state.
Yeah, how do we get there if it's even feasible if you had a magic wand?
Oh, it's feasible, and we're gonna do it. Because, sorry, but we have already talked on this. Once we had this, I don't know, you guys help me out here, we had this feeling, like last year, that our scores were improving. It was almost like it was just a feeling, because we didn't know, right? It was almost like an electric moment that a lot of us talked about, because we felt like our kids were starting to move and grow there. And, you know, and we did it. But there's a lot of work to do, but we are gonna get there. And I think one of the ways that we get there is through our tier one, through the coaching that we have, that the district, you know, provides for us and for me. I get coaching too, right? And then also, sorry, yeah, Shelby, and then feel free. And also through that intervention time where every kid gets what they need, we are able to close those gaps and move those kids. And when we say, oh, sorry, go ahead.
We need to retain the students. Like,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the key. The ones that have been here year after year after year are the ones that are showing the most significant
That's true.
gains.
Mhm.
This revolving door thing is not so much helpful to our data. So that is what we need to start really focusing on. How are we gonna keep the kinders here till grade 5,
Yep.
through grade 6, through grade 12?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Through 12th grade.
And our preschool too, you know, and, you know, also, it's looking at each individual child. So, I don't know, like, we have, you know, the high group, the middle group, the lower group, so it's constantly moving them to where they're at. Some of our kids, like, based on some of the testing and informal pieces as we're meeting in PLCs, are right now at an 8th grade level. Okay, so then we need to, and I mean, this is not only Vandenberg, this is other schools within our district, but it's about challenging those kids too. So we will have that magic wand. We met, sorry team, sorry, I'm still going, you know how I am. You know, we actually looked at some of our data that we got back in January, and we hit that math goal. And that math goal, like Amy Shilby said, was difficult because it's more skills-based in math. So it's like they have to reach a certain skill to move forward. Team?
I would
Like,
add, I'm sorry,
just-
Mr. Winston, to your question. Our committee chair for attendance wasn't here, and that's a nationwide problem, but we have butts and seats. We need kids that are present in class in order to teach and instruct them and to improve those scores. And while we've had problems prior to COVID, as many more urban school districts do, it's just been more of a problem since. We need, at our level, it's a parent problem, it's not a kid problem, right?
That's right.
And it's that communication piece about the importance of what we do. And I think a lot of parents during COVID thought if they turn in the assignments, they're good. And they don't get that there's 7 hours of instruction. That is a really important piece and not just doing a workbook page. So I would wave my magic wand and put them all in the seats every day. That would be my number one piece.
Yeah. Oh, I see Coop celebrating in the back.
He'd like their butts in the seat too.
My magic wand would be that the M step is not the end all be all.
Yes.
The only reason,
Yeah.
you know, the only measure of kids' ability. Because, you know, I was just talking to a parent the other day that her daughter's NWEA score went down, but on her daily work, she is kicking it out. And I said, you know, she has test anxiety. She sees it's a test, you know, on the computer, she goes to pieces. But day in and day out, she's a great kid in the classroom. She works really, really hard. And, you know, that's one day, maybe 2, that they take each of those sections of the test. It's a lot of time that they're trying to keep their attention when they're only little kids, basically. And it's very grueling for them. So my magic wand would be that we look at the whole child, and I think Vandenberg has always had a reputation of kids start here and we take them here.
True.
Doesn't mean they always pass the M step, no, but they have made growth, and we can see their growth in areas that the M step doesn't measure.
Thank you.
Milka has a magic wand. She's part of the magic wand, we all are.
Yeah, I'm here on behalf of the instructional coaches, and I think our magic wand and some of the discussions that we have in professional learning communities
Yeah.
and the families is a discussion about growth and proficiency, and that's something, I support Vandenberg, E2 Math, and then I'm primarily at Adams. But we talk about, you can really impact growth. Those proficiency scores, you know, that's a little bit further away for some of our students, but we have to remember we're all not starting at the same line.
Right.
So, and that what I need part, something, like I've been in this district, this is my 3rd school year, and we were talking about our data, like we weren't reaching those kids who were the highest. We were focusing so much on the kids who were struggling, and I think that I've seen that shift this year. Like with the what I need time and the kids who are at and above, those students are being challenged, and I think that that's helping too. So like it's 2 different pieces, growth and proficiency. And MSTEP's only that end result, but with NWA, with their classroom data, we talk about where do they start on that screener, how do they do that end of unit test, what are they doing, and what are they, you know, so we're talking about goal setting with kids too.
Yeah, they set their own goals sheets, yeah, you're right, good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, Misha.
Growth and proficiency, that's what I got on my paper, right here, both together, right? Growth and proficiency. I love all of this solution part because this is a whole child, whole parent. You are correct. The kids don't make themselves late.
That's right.
They don't keep themselves at home. You know, so I talk to hundreds of parents and mad. I'm so angry. Like, oh, they're not going to school today. I'm like, why not? Do you need a ride? I'll come get them. You know, that's, no, I just, don't get me wrong. I used to give my kids mental health days, right? You get 2 a semester. They cannot be together. They cannot be in the same week. But sometimes you need a reset or whatever. But I appreciate the solutions that you all have. That means you have been thinking, you have been listening to these children, you see your community and what it needs.
Yes.
This might be the best presentation
Yes. Yes.
that I've seen.
Yes.
Seriously. I appreciate all of you. This was really good.
Yes. Yes.
I appreciate it.
I mean, we just speak from the heart because we love what we do.
It's my turn.
Oh, yeah, chess club. Yeah, chess club, sorry, Elizabeth.
We have a competitive chess club. We started, finally got it off the ground in January. We have a chess master, and he's also a tournament director, so we're hoping to be self-sufficient.
Nice.
He wanted to donate half of his, chess masters are very expensive. This gentleman drives almost an hour to our community, and he has cut his fee in half.
Wow.
And we've, kids are growing. We just started a new design where I'm pairing older children leaders with the young, it's 3 to 5. And some of the 3rd graders don't have the focus. So I started creating like little chess leaders in the club, and they're pairing with the younger ones, and it's worked really well. I'm excited. We're going to continue this. Our PTO president wants the same club to grow into tiers, so she's going to try and get that started next year, so our 5th graders can continue.
That's great.
And we have 32 students signed up.
Nice.
That's fantastic.
Can we get a debate team? Like elementary and then movies?
What'd you say?
Talk to me. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
want to talk
good,
to
Rachel.
Yeah.
What I want to see happen, because if you have more community activities within your school, after school, it will drive attendance, it will drive that partnership, that feeling, and I think COVID just shut everything down.
Yep.
So I'm hoping, as those of you who have known me for a long time, know how I like,
Yes, yes, yes.
so we started with chess club. Next year, I'm hoping to bring a couple more clubs in and work with the PTO to get those things going. So our after schools are bursting with the kids, you know, involved in other things.
And our chess club also includes some past Vandenberg alumni that come and kind of donate their time and to help out to mentor the kids as well.
Okay, Ms. Hughes and Team Vandy, this has been fantastic. And you want to know something? I'm telling you, are the other elementary schools on this same page? Because I have not heard this, but from Ms. Hughes and Team Vandy. And I think that if everybody gets on this page, we can come up, up, up. And I want everybody to give them a big hand. This has been fantastic, and thank you so much. And Mr. Bob, make sure that the other elementary schools are on Miss Hughes's, on Team Vandy's mountain, okay? All right.
We also have snacks.
Yes. Anybody else want to say anything? Okay, we're going to take a 10-minute break at 7:44. I call this meeting back to order at 7:58. Next item on the agenda is consider Jefferson Fisher Vandenberg abatement project.
Thank you, Madam President. At the board meeting on February 24th, 2025, the board discussed the Jefferson Fisher Vandenberg abatement projects. Bids were solicited and received for the work, and the companies that are recommended for the work are Midwest Environmental for $193,000, Environmental Maintenance Engineers for $37,000 at Fisher, and for the $193,000, that's at Jefferson and Vandenberg. And a 10% contingency, total expenses not to exceed $253,000 is requested to cover any unforeseen costs associated with the projects. And the bid award would be paid for out of the 2021 bond as well as a 12A grant. Madam President, a resolution is attached for board consideration.
Do I have a board member willing to adopt the resolution?
Madam President,
Yes.
I move the adoption of the following resolution.
Madam President, you have a comment or a
sorry.
question?
What is the A9?
The what's that?
The A9, you said part of it would be paid out of.
Oh, the grant.
The grant.
Oh,
12A.
it's just called 12A. That's the type, that's the number in the letter that comes from the state, 12A.
Okay, so it's a state grant.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Support.
It's been moved by Mrs. Early and supported by Mr. Johnson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? 7 ayes, 0 nays. Resolution adopted. Next item on the agenda is consider Jefferson Fisher Vandenberg Pierce Roller Shades Project.
Thank you, Madam President. At the board meeting also on February 24th, 2025, the board discussed the roller shade projects for each of those locations that you just named. Bids were solicited and received for the work. The company that is recommended for the work is DCA Products for $75,556. A 10% contingency, which would be total expenses not to exceed $83,111.60, is requested to cover any unforeseen costs associated with the projects. The bid award would also be paid for out of the 2021 fund. Madam President, a resolution is attached for board consideration.
Do I have a board member willing to adopt the resolution?
I'll move the resolution.
Support.
It's been moved by Mrs. Hicks, supported by Mr. Johnson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? 0 nays, resolution adopted. Next item on the agenda is consider Fisher Gym Floor project.
Thank you, Madam President. Also on the February 24th, 2025 board meeting, the board discussed the Fisher Gymnasium floor project, and the bids were solicited and received for the work. The company that is recommended for the work would be Coons Flooring for $96,900. With a 10% contingency, total expenses not to exceed $106,590 is requested to cover any unforeseen costs associated with the flooring project. The bid would be funded by the insurance claim, and there is a resolution attached for board consideration.
I have a board member willing to adopt the resolution.
Madam President,
Yes.
I move the adoption of the following resolution.
Support.
Wow, you were just jumping right on those.
All right. It's been moved by Mrs. Early, supported by Mr. Johnson. All right now. All in favor? Aye. 7 ayes, 0 nays. Resolution adopted. Next item on the agenda, consider Fisher Terrazzo polishing project.
Thank you, Madam President. At the board meeting on February 24th, 2025, the board also discussed the Fisher Terrazzo polishing project. Bids were solicited and received for the work. The company that is recommended for the work is Diamond Shine for $51,850. A 10% contingency, total expenses not to exceed $57,035 is requested to cover any unforeseen costs associated with the project. The bid award would be paid for out of the 2021 bond. Madam President, a resolution is attached for board consideration.
Do I have a board member willing to adopt the resolution?
I'll move the resolution.
Support. It's been moved by Mrs. Hicks, supported by Mrs. Early. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? 0, 7 ayes, 0 nays. Resolution adopted. Next item on the agenda, consider Jefferson, Fisher, Vandenberg, Pierce, Thurston Furniture Project. Mr. Bob.
Thank you, Madam President. Also at the February 24th, 2025 board meeting, the board discussed the furniture project that was presented from TMP Architecture for Jefferson, Fisher, Vandenberg, Pierce, as well as Thurston, in various phases of the furniture project for said locations. The companies that are recommended for the work that was presented at the February 24th, 2025 Board of Education meeting are listed below, with a total award amount of $2,761,160.14, which would be paid for out of the 2021 bond for these phases of furniture at said locations. Madam President, a resolution is attached for board consideration.
Do I have a board member willing to adopt the resolution?
I move the adoption of the following resolution.
Support.
It's been moved by Mrs. Early, supported by Mr. Johnson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? 0 nays. Resolution adopted. Next item on the agenda, consider updates to board policy, Mrs. Hicks.
Well, we still don't have an answer on the outstanding question of whether the PTOs are involved, but there is no changes, and I haven't heard from anybody back on anything regarding the original policy that was shown to the board.
Okay, so the PTOs, we haven't, Mr. Bob, did we get anything on that?
No, we have not.
Yes.
Chair. What was the,
What was the question
Yeah.
about? Because they wanted to set a limit on how much they could be reimbursed.
okay.
And we just wanted to verify whether because of the phrasing in it, whether the PTOs were included or whether they were separate.
Does anybody, well, now, let's see. Did you notify them, didn't you?
We have, we've tried several times.
Several times.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I think we should,
We were hoping with our next set of policies that are coming out, we might get the answer at that time
okay.
on that particular question.
So, as a board, and as the chair, what would you like to do?
We did not include that policy
In here.
in it.
Okay.
We kept it out till we got an answer.
Okay.
So that was not presented to the board.
Okay.
Well, I moved it up, but I'm sure.
Okay. It's been moved by Mrs. Early, been supported by Mr. Johnson. All in favor? Aye. Any nays? 7 ayes, 0 nays, resolution adopted. Hopefully we'll get that,
With our next package.
okay. Next item on the agenda, comments from the audience. Are there any? Next item on the agenda, Plus Delta room for improvement.
Thank you, Madam President. What processes supported the board's work this evening?
Yes.
I really enjoyed the presentation from Vandenberg tonight. However, I would still really would like to get the updates ahead of time so that I can look at them and form a question that looks like I might know a little bit about what I'm talking about. But no, it was a very good presentation and I did enjoy it very much. But I'm glad to see their scores are at least coming up.
Yes.
In the direction it needed to be, start coming.
Any other ones?
What opportunities might the board see this evening that would support its work? Deltas?
Are there any?
To the chair.
Yes?
I have a Delta. It's not toward this board meeting, but it's operating as a board in general. 2 weeks ago, I sent out an email requesting an item to be put on the agenda, and I sent it to multiple email addresses in case people were still having problems with their district, and I received no acknowledgement. And it goes along with working, and it was in pertaining to conferences and developing, and I think it needed to come back to the board, but nobody responded back to me in the last 2 weeks. So to me, that's a delta for us as a board, not communicating and following through things.
If I recall, I did say that I would do it at the end of the month. And, that's it?
To the chair?
Yes?
I must have missed it at the board meeting because I don't remember that
Okay.
acknowledgement. And one other thing, that we as a board need to be cognizant when committees are meeting and people send out emails, just to be courtesy enough to return a response, whether you have an answer or whatever. To hold up committee work and things moving forward, I think is unacceptable. And to the best of my knowledge, our operations manual is still in limbo, that committee, because those questions have not been presented back. That we had board members say they would get them. And that still has not happened, and I think that's really sad as a board that we can't work together. Whether we like the person or not, we have to find a way to work together. and that's a delta to me.
All right.
Are there any other deltas in supporting the board's work this evening? Seeing that there are.
Any other ones?
Seeing none, Madam President, back to you.
Thank you. Since there's no further business that comes before this board, I adjourn this meeting at 8:12.